Okay, welcome MegaWhale team to a technical analysis video for Skale. We haven't preset anything for this video today. We're actually going to start from scratch. I haven't even personally looked at this chart for a long time, since it was listed on Coinbase way back in mid to late February. So we're just looking basically from scratch over here. So we're going to walk you through every step of the way, how we draw our trend lines in, and what analysis we're going to be doing. So it's going to be a little bit of a longer video, but I'm sure there's going to be a lot of value in this one, guys, to stick around to the end and make sure you watch it. So before we get started, we're going to draw our trend lines and our support and resistance lines in. We're just going to use a horizontal line to indicate where on the chart we have these points. So this is going to be our first major support line. We're going to dictate this one as a blue line. So our supports will be blue today. I usually change up the colors, but today we're going to use blue. Now we do know this zone, in fact, is a strong support zone. So we can see this being our support zone. We have our retests here, we have our resistance we broke through, and then we retested a support. Similar on this end of the chart, we have nice strong retests and bounce in this zone, and even now again. So I would say for SKL, we'll just put a yellow box here. This will be our support zone, and I would say this is quite a strong support zone, and I would honestly say this is most likely the bottom. If we saw it drop below this yellow box, that would be our sell signal. I do have an alert here, guys, which we put in, being our indicated sell signal. If we drop below at night, what is it, 17 cents, I'd be concerned. But for now, great entry, great risk reward. It looks very promising. So let's chuck in our resistances. So for the resistances, we might move to a 3-day chart. All right, what do we see? We see a nice strong resistance at 39.5 cents. This has been the resistance that we held basically the entirety of from August onwards. This is an exception. We did pump above, but we didn't fail to really make any solid foreground above that point. And we found we got rejected with a lot of large wicks above at this point. So this is our long-term critical resistance. If we do break above this resistance level, we will probably most likely see a push to around $1. We'll get closer into that in the end of the video though. Let's go back to our 1-day time frame. All right, short-term resistances. Let's take a look. We do have our resistance down on this level here, which is our 26-cent resistance. As we can see again, we have numerous amounts of retests and support along this zone. So I would say for our short term, 26 cents would be a nice indicator that we're heading back up to 39 cents. And then obviously if we break 39 cents, we'll continue upwards. Cool, so we have our major resistances in. Obviously there are a lot more resistances above 39 cents, but this is just our critical resistance, so we're not going to bother about mapping anything else out. Let's look at our trend lines. So for our trend lines, we're just going to take a quick look. Remember, we're not going to worry about these long wicks. We don't care too much long wicks. We're going to take it from where we've more recently found support. All right, we'll just draw it along, and it looks like we've basically bottomed out from this trend line we had, or this slight uptrend we had at the start of Scale's chart. So look at that. We've basically come all the way down. We've hit support. We found support in our support zone, and we found support on a long-term support line. So guys, honestly, I think Scale has bottomed out from the looks of things. We'll get into technicals after. And obviously our long-term resistance line, we can draw in here. All right, and we have our key critical data points to match this one up to confirm that is in fact our long-term resistance. We have a lot of wicks finding resistance, these long wicks finding resistance. Slight breakout here, everything broke out. Remember, one chain broke out and went up about 30%. Most altcoins did a huge pump at this point in time, and then we crashed back down, finding resistance again at that trend line and pushing back down to the bottom. So let's just make it look a little neater. That is where we're starting today. This is our starting point. This is our current chart. This is what we're looking at. It looks like we've bottomed out. So let's dive into some technicals. Let's bring up some of my favorite ones. First, we're going to start with the bull market support band. So we've covered the bull market support band a little bit. We're not going to go into too much detail what it is today, but the key things we need to remember is we need to get above the bull market support band for this trend to fully reverse. We saw similar things happen here. When we got above, retested, we had a full reversal up into a point of which we crashed back down below that bull market support band again. All right, we saw exactly the same thing happen numerous amount of times, particularly at the start where we came above it, pushed up, then we had our sell signal, went back down to support. All right, we have our entry point again, push back up, and that's our major push in March. All right, so we can see if we want to get back into our uptrend, we do need to push above that bull market support band again. And I think we've got a pretty good chance at doing so. We'll have to take a look at some other indicators, but that's looking promising. Let's take a look at the RSI, and we'll also bring up the MACD. So on the daily chart, it looks great. We've had a lot of bottoming out over here, a lot of consolidation on the RSI, and we're pushing upwards. We do have a little bit of resistance here on the RSI at this point, and it'd be nice to see a push above and breaking upwards into a new trend. So what's this telling us right now is we haven't formed the uptrend. We're more or less consolidating at the bottom of this range. We can see the RSI is flattening out, which is really nice to see. We had a similar flattening out over here, and we can see the converging MACD, meaning sell orders are decreasing, buy orders are increasing, and we are quite low on that RSI. We're the lowest we've actually been for a while, and we have broken over that little bit of resistance on that RSI, which was one support. So guys, we're looking quite good actually. You know, like if I had a spare fiat, I would be investing in this right now. All my money's tied up in other investments that I've already recently purchased. But right now, this is actually looking like a really good trade. I would expect the short term for it to push back up to this bull market support band on that 3-day chart, maybe around 30 cents. I do think we'll break out the 26-cent range. The next question will be, will we continue upwards, or will we come back down and retest that long-term trend line, that support trend line again for a further retest? But overall, guys, from what we've looked at so far, the chart is looking really good. All right, let's get rid of the bull market support band, get rid of the RSI. Let's take a look at the Ichimoku Cloud. All right, we've talked about the Ichimoku Cloud a few times. Again, it is lagging, but it's a really good indicator to help us understand the general trend. And remember, guys, we talked about it in the Learn to Trade video. If you haven't watched the Learn to Trade video and you're not too sure what's happening right now with the Ichimoku Cloud, go ahead and watch that. It's going to tell you, or teach you, better yet, exactly how to use the Ichimoku Cloud and what we're looking for buy signals, momentum indicators, and overall general trend direction. How you can gather that information from using this technical indicator and why it's such an effective indicator. So if you haven't watched it, go watch it now before continuing with this video. Otherwise, you're not really going to understand what's happening now. So let's take a look on the 1-day chart. We had our break over the conversion line. All right, the last time we saw a promising break over the converging line when we were underneath the clouds was back on the 25th of July. That triggered a nice uptrend. Because remember, when we break over the conversion line, it indicates a potential entry point for a long signal. From the looks of things on the 1-day chart, we have not confirmed any trend reversal yet. We are still technically in a downtrend, but we have an entry signal. So it's indicating we have a possible bottom, right? We do have a possible bottom here. Momentum's balancing out, it's slowing down. We're converging upwards a little bit. We broke that conversion line. And let's take a look at a 12-hour chart. So again, similar things happening. We're now getting resistance on that baseline. We would like to see the baseline break, and we should push into the clouds. Let's take a look at the 4-hour. We can see we had that on the 4-hour. We're pushing into the clouds here, which is really nice to see. Our lagging span, the green line here, let's change it back to black, is pushing up with the price into the clouds. Remember, the lagging span is 26 periods behind. We would like to see the price and the lagging span above the clouds to indicate a trend reversal or a shift, better yet, in the trend. And we have seen that on the 1-hour chart, which is really good to see. The question is now, will this trend shift, which we've seen, this new formed uptrend on the small time frame, be strong enough, and will it carry through to the larger time frames? Remember, what happens on the small time frames? Shift downwards to the larger time frames if they are strong enough and if they're continued. All right, so we do see that happen. Let's take a look. Let's take a look real quickly. So we have this short-term trend, this resistance line here, and we do notice that we had a really, really good support resistance flip. So this is very bullish. We had a nice support resistance flip, and now it's at that 19.67 cent range, and we've pushed back up. So guys, honestly, I'm really happy with what Skale is doing right now. I'm very bullish on this one right now. I think this is a great entry for this trade. What I would expect to see, let's quickly map it out. I don't want to be overly optimistic, because obviously we have still not formed a new uptrend for Bitcoin. Bitcoin has pushed up a little bit, and we'll do a video on it later, but we are still very much in a downtrend on Bitcoin. Until we break over our 54,000 and 53,000 range, we're still in a downtrend. So we have to be kind of cautious when investing in altcoins right now, and I definitely wouldn't be overexposing yourself. Only invest a small amount. So we're looking at something like this. I got our trend line in. We can put our stop loss just under our trend line. Being cautious for wicks. We don't want to sell on a wick. We want to sell on a convincing 4-hour close below. So we'll say anywhere between 18.6 and 18, so 11 to 13% stop loss. And you have your at least a 26% rise. So best case scenario, we'll see a 40% rise to that 30-cent range. So anywhere between a 1 to 2 and 1 to 3 risk reward ratio right now for the short term for Skale. Obviously, if we manage to break above this pennant, what can we expect? Well, we can expect a pretty strong move, guys. We'll just do a measured move real quickly, and we can copy and paste this measured move over. So here's our measured move. What would we assume to see? We would see a very strong move, 430% up to $1.10. All right, so Skale is looking very good in the short term. The long-term projection on Skale is also very good. It all rests on what Bitcoin's going to do. If we get a full trend reversal, Bitcoin will explode. All right, if we get over 54,000, it will head up to our 74,000 bull market target. Altcoins will rally. We'll see a break of this long-term resistance, and we'll head up. So we're going to post this trade in our free channel. Obviously, if you're a VIP member, you'll also get this trade. And remember, guys, if you liked the video, like, comment, and subscribe. We'd love to have you around on the MegaWhale team for some more videos in the future. And we got 2 more altcoin videos coming this week. We haven't picked which ones yet, but if you do want to put your input in and kind of vote for the altcoin you want to see, head over to the Twitter channel. The most recent tweet, you can comment below which altcoin you would like to see. And I do pick 3 random altcoins a week. This is one of them. So we're going to pick 2 others later in the week to do similar analyses and trades on then. All right, guys, I will catch you in the next video.